So today's a big day. I've got a relatively large amount of work to do in a short space of time than usual. Now the reason I've got less time than usual is because I'm meeting with the family later. We're gonna go and do something together, which is absolutely awesome, but it just puts the pressure on. I become a bit of a workaholic, which is a good thing because I love what I do. And slightly obsessive compulsive as well. I have to get a certain amount of things done or I just wouldn't have a good day. So for instance, today I want to fix the rainbow fish aquarium. On the surface here, it looks perfect, doesn't it? But when you get a little bit closer, yeah, it's not. There's a few issues. Nothing major, but stuff that needs sorting. And then there's also the realistic Apistogramma aquarium I did. It's definitely realistic, but it's really dark. Plants are growing crazy though. And then the ecosystem aquarium, the 4-foot one, that needs sorting out as well. Again, there's some slight algae issues. Floating plants, they've got the better of me. In the last video I said to you guys, if something's annoying you should do it straight away. I'm going to take my own advice on that one, especially with this tank. This whole thing is getting sorted and looking amazing today. My rainbow fish river tank looks good, but it could look better. Oops. Yeah, I think I'll just stick with the razor scraper. So I think like these magic algae scrapey thingies are really good if you like have them attached to your tank and you use them really regularly, like I don't know, every few days. The problem is that by the time I'm going to use these, we've got that green spot algae that's kind of welded on the glass, so it's just easier for me to get the razor blade and just yeah. Moss is taken care of nice and quickly. Fortunately, they're looking pretty good anyway. Didn't require much work. Moving on to the stem plants. Oh, is my lens all funny? No, the lens is fine. Moving on to the stem plants. They've grown all the way to the surface, loads of them. I'm gonna have to cut everything right back, right down short. Probably not gonna look that good after we've done it, but you've got to do these things. Right, we're halfway through. Pleased with how it's going so far. This half done. I just got this side to do where the limb the feeler is. Not really sure how to tackle this, so I'm just gonna cut it down. Just mow it down. There we go. It's not even cleared up properly yet. That's looking fresh. I'm loving that we can see all the green at the back there of that plant. The Cyperus, is it? Something like that? Yeah, it's like a reedy sort of look to it, isn't it? It's like Vallisneria, but doesn't melt away when you put like CO2 boosters or glutaraldehyde or anything like that. It's like a stronger plant, I find. Has a really cool grassy look, especially now we've got, it's like getting the flow. It wasn't getting the flow because we had all these stem plants blocking it. Flow comes along from out there, along the front like this, like that's where all the fish like sort of dancing in it, and it comes around the back and swoops across. That's why you get that awesome look in that gap. Love it. So I managed to trim all of those stem plants there. I've only kept a few, some of the best looking ones. Yeah, here we go, look, we've got Rotala rotundifolia, Rotala macrandra, a couple of stems of that. Oh, a little baby one as well. Yep. I'm just gonna sort of put these in places. They're just too good. Can't just get rid of them. I know, so many of you want me to send them to you, but can you imagine the logistical operation trying to send out all my plant trimmings all the time? I'd never get anything done. Oh, there we go. I felt like the platy tank needed a little bit of colour. Just a couple of little bits either side. Really has spiced that up. Spiced it up? Nah, that's not the right word. Coloured it up. Yay! Everything's looking immense again. So I've got the water level like that, look. Lots of people ask, why don't you fill your tanks up? Especially with fish like this. The rainbow fish are jumpers. You'll often see them dart into the surface, especially when feeding. Now that seems to be a good... Look at them coming up there now. Oh, no they're not. Let's see if they do that again. Guys? Yeah, I thought I'd tricked them into thinking there was food. Oh look, when I come out and start... They think I'm going to feed them. But anyway, they dart to the surface and then they come back down again and they keep doing that. Now if I'm close to the edge, it's going to happen, isn't it? One's just going to just flop over the top. Anyway, we look good. Now next up is the Apistogramma aquarium. This is one that I went for like a natural look, and overall it's in pretty good nick. There's way too many floating plants though, like you'll notice a recurring theme. I always forget the floating plants. Yeah, we're looking pretty good. I mean, like I say, the floating plants, take them out. And the Echinodorus quadristellatus, this one, baby Amazon swords basically, they are spreading. They were planted back there, look, they've grown all the way around, and now they're going all that way. It's really, really good at creeping, this plant. I've actually got quite a bit of it in this tank here, so we'll be on this one in a minute, mainly because of that little algae thingy in the middle. But yeah, it's also crept up here as well. I don't know why it's done that. And if you look around the back here, there's actually a plant growing out of the top. I'm going to leave that because it looks nice. But these need to be trimmed because that's going to spoil the look. I want that standing here at the front. Now, if you see here, we've got all the Liliopsis brasiliensis as well. Look at the fish. Look at the fish trying to get involved. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Liliopsis brasiliensis. That is actually starting to carpet as well. It's travelled, look, down there. So I don't know how this is happening, if I'm honest, because there's barely any light in this tank. Looking sweet again. Look at that. I've got a whole tub of floating plants. This is Salvinia, and to be honest, that's why I love it so much. A couple of handfuls and it's gone, and it's surprising I don't do that more often with how easy it is. Tail looks awesome again, doesn't it? It's kind of so natural that I don't want to do anything, but I've got to sort out at least these plants that are just going right in the foreground. They're spoiling the look, if you ask me. The sword at the back though looks great, the way it's looping right over, and that Bacopo as well. Yeah, looking really good. They could probably do with a trim. I should probably trim it, shouldn't I? Oh, I'm not going to. Leaving it. So that was quite interesting actually. The mini Amazon sword had crept all the way along the front here, sort of stopped about here, gone back on itself for some weird reason, and gone back into the other corner. Why would it do that? I've got no idea, but you know, I've got it here. It's a pretty nice plant, isn't it? But it's really invasive. I mean, if I left that, it would cover the whole tank. We really don't want it to oh, my bad. Looks good though, doesn't it? So now that I've disturbed everything, it's kind of got the fish all riled up. Oh, look, there we go. There's a nice Cory, Venezuelan orange Cory. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Someone told me off for calling it a Venezuelan orange Cory before. They said it's just a Venezuelan Cory. But then you can get black Venezuelan Cory, so I just wanted to distinguish the differences, you know? Look at that. This is the female of the Hongshloi. She's really colouring up, look. That's like breeding colours, I think. The male, look, is taking a little look. Look at him flaring. He's going over. What are you doing? Don't you dare. Oh, yeah, that's breeding. That's breeding stuff. I don't know what I mean by stuff, but hopefully you guys will know what I'm talking about. Yeah, we've got our Ottos, still doing lots of cleaning all over the place. I think there's about 6 of those Corys they're currently hiding, and the only way I can normally get them out is if I put like food down in this area here. I'm going to put some little pellets down there. Hopefully that entices them out, because it's really cool seeing them all move together. Look, there's one now. But if I can get them all come out together, they all swim nicely. Pretty much the same as you can see over in my rainbow fish aquarium. But because I've just been disturbing this so much, the cories hide. And when I'm usually sat down editing, like if I'm sat here editing away, look, and I could just normally just see them going everywhere. This is such a cool spot, by the way. Like I'll be here, tap. Oh, I just pressed something. I don't know what that was. Yeah, and I'd just be able to see everything going on behind me. How cool is that? And that is way too much food, just so you guys know. I didn't know I picked up that big of a pinch, but you know, look, the girl down there, she's already eating. Girl, can I say the girl? The female one is already eating the pellet. I actually meant it for the cook. Look, there we go. I need to stay quite still. We've got decent zoom on this lens, so we should be all right. Straight away, the cories can sense that there's something in the water. One must, yeah, some are falling down there. Look how nuts they're going. Oh, I want it. Yeah, another, and the other two, look at the back here, they're coming out as well. As soon as that stuff touches the water, they just know. Oh, what are you doing? A little gymnastics, Corey. So that's 2 tanks down onto the ecosystem aquarium. Now this has not had a water change now in like 10 months. And please excuse all the dead plants around it. I'm really good at keeping plants alive in the water, but you'd think being surrounded by water, I'd remember to water them, but I don't. Come on then, let's have a look and a laugh. It's not a drop. It got to a point, to be honest, when I just went, you know what, I just give up and just left them, and they kind of look like decorations around the tank. And this one, look, somehow is coming back to life. I mean, I've still not watered it. There's no moisture down there. Well done. The ivy at the top, which is, again, kind of dead, is and it isn't, because if you trace it round, look, this stuff here that's actually in the water is pulling moisture sort of like, I don't know how it's doing it, because the root system is not in water, but the plant is, so it's almost like it's wicking it from the end of the plant. Works, why not? Anyway, enough of that. First job, let's like open it up a bit so I can see, because it's pretty dark, isn't it? So by taking all of those floating plants at the top, we are literally exporting nitrates. Look, gone, out the tank. Oh, now on the floor as well. I was meant to go in the bucket, but I missed. That's not going to help massively for our algae situation, but I'll sort that out now. Now this tank here has not had this algae, well, since I started it, and even then it was only very minimal. So this has come out of nowhere, and I think I know what's causing it. Now remember, algae is excess nutrients and then high lighting. If you have low light, the excess nutrients don't really seem to matter, although it will matter a bit. But if you've got high lighting like I've got here, the reason it's high is because I've gone for 2 of these lights, and it was absolutely fine. But now there's obviously excess nutrients. Where are they coming from? Well, it's not the fish, because there's no more fish. I think it was this. So look, quite a few of them are dying off and sort of rotting, as well as the fresh ones, as they sort of pile on top of each other inside of the aquarium. So now we've removed those, and all I've left dotted around are a few of the really good ones, and I'm not going to let it get into that state again. We'll have new fresh ones growing, absorbing more nutrients. Under the highlighting, the algae should go. But I'm going to get rid of it manually as well. Just going to put a brush in there and twirl it round. That should get most of it. And then I'll put in some glutaraldehyde CO2 booster as well, so that'll just sort of burn it off. Okay, so ordinarily the toilet brush method would have worked, but the problem is then you could see it was starting to pull up all this lovely moss. I didn't actually plant this moss, but it's decided to grow there, which is great. I didn't put any moss in this tank actually, so it must have come in on some plants. But it's starting to sort of take over the bottom there with some really interesting sort of clumps, and I really like it. It looks so natural. Oh look, there's our female Apistogramma vieja in there. You might have noticed as well, I put the male cockatoides in here. He was across in one of my storage tanks He's getting on really well. Yeah, there's a male Vieja as well. I haven't seen him today so far, but he's back there somewhere. So yeah, I didn't use the bog brush because it was kind of pulling everything up. Went in with the hands. This is kind of just randomly floating there now, bobbing about, look. And now I'm just going to put in the liquid CO2, and that should, get rid of anything that's left there. And now we've exported all those nitrates and all the dead sort of, or dying or decaying floating plants. I think that should be it for it. Now, if this was a normal sort of presentation tank in your living room, something like that, I'd probably do a hack back right now on all those plants. Because it's our ecosystem, don't want to do too much to it, don't want to disturb too much, especially since we've just taken away all those floating plants as well. So I'm not going to touch it at all. It also looks awesome. It's got a good month in it before it needs to trim. Some of you will be looking at it like, a month? What are you talking about? Look at it. Now we've got a month. Good month.